One of the first people Williams wants to question is Devra's boyfriend from rehab. But he soon learns that he and Devvra had broken up months before she'd disappeared. He'd also been sent to prison on a drug charge shortly after that, so he's eliminated as a suspect.
The date of her disappearance suggested that he was in prison at that time.
What's more, Williams soon discovers something else. Not long before Devvra went AWOL, a new man had stepped into her life. In June 2010, Devvra is celebrating her 31st birthday with a wild party in Benson. One of the guests is her new boyfriend, Jared Larson.
How did she describe him?
She really liked Jared. He was a younger guy, very cute. She liked to hang out with him.
What did you think?
How old is he? Like, how much younger is he?
Jared's 9 years younger than Devvra, but he's more than a boy toy. Like her, Jared comes from a warm and loving family.
She just said he was young and sexy and cute, and he had a daughter that she loved.
He and Devvra bond over their love for their kids and shared the same frustration of not having primary custody of them.
Jared had played baseball, loved to play baseball, very competitive. And he cried at movies, and he was just described as this great person.
During the early summer of 2010, Jared and Devvra are happy together. But their relationship begins to fray when Jared moves out of his parents' house and in with a strange new roommate, Robert Sappington.
He lived in what would be considered filth. He lived in a room with dead animals. He would get animal carcasses that he must have found on the street or out in the desert, and he would collect those items. There were naked women taped to his walls. He'd tear those from various adult magazines. And in the back of his room, he had written his own name in what would appear to be blood.
Sappington has a past full of troubles.
He first got high on marijuana at age 9. And then he began into alcohol and then tried every drug under the sun.
Those childhood hobbies soon brought him into conflict with the law.
He eventually went to prison when he was 19 years old for a burglary.
It's not entirely clear what Jared sees in Robert Sappington, but their friendship brings out the worst in Jared.
He tried to give off this persona of just being a tough guy.
He began to use marijuana, and from that marijuana, he progressed into more serious drugs such as methamphetamine.
Under the influence of Sappington and his friends, Jared draws his pretty, fun-loving girlfriend into the mix. It's a toxic scene. And at one of Devvra's parties, it goes from bad to worse.
With several other of Devvra's friends, they spent 4 days using methamphetamine. That was 4 days straight.
When she did begin using it, it hit her like a truck. Anytime someone gets that far down the road, digging out becomes really, really difficult.
During the bender, it becomes obvious that Sappington's friendship comes at a price.
He was providing methamphetamine for everybody in the apartment. The way it works in the drug world, women, if they don't have money, they're expected to exchange sex for drugs.
He had attempted numerous times to get Devvra to engage in sexual intercourse with him. She declined every request. He was described as pacing back and forth and just visibly angry that she wouldn't do that.
According to friends, Sappington tries to get back at Devvra by monopolizing Jared, taking him under his wing and teaching him the drug game.
I'll light it for you.
Hoping it will drive a wedge between the couple.
They developed a pretty close relationship. Sappington thrived on being the leader. He thrived on having people that looked up to him. And Jared needed, in my opinion, that sort of acceptance, that feeling of camaraderie he got from Robert.
Yeah, I feel good, right? Here you go, hit it again, man. You like your own shit. You like your own stuff.
And when they began using meth together, the two of them, it seemed, kind of fed off of each other's machismo.
A machismo that leaves little room for Devvra. Late in the summer of 2010, she's had enough and breaks it off with Jared.